Way back in 1987, Little Mac defeated Mike Tyson with only 9 moves, but after receiving an invitation to the Super Smash Bros. Franchise back in 2014, he realized he couldn't compete with such a limited style against powerhouses like Ganondorf, Solid Snake, Kazuya Mishima, Wii Fit Trainer. Steve? What the fuck? Today we'll be taking a look at the moveset he's got in the 2018's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and see just how much he's improved since his first appearance. We'll check out the good, the bad and the fouls. And keep in mind, this is all from the viewpoint of real-life boxing, not whatever the rules of Smash are. So let's get going. In his idle stance, Mac is bouncing on the balls of his feet, doing some smooth switch steps, shifting back and forth and going from orthodox to Philly shell and back. Very good, basic boxing movement. Makes him look much more competent already. In Mac's forward walk, he lets his lead hand drop into a relaxed sway while keeping the rear hand up. Like I said in the Witcher video, it's alright to drop your guard when you're sufficiently far away from your opponent, so this is perfectly acceptable. While running, Mac goes into a low peekaboo stance, and while dashing, he goes even lower, nearly parallel with the ground. Boxers don't tend to run inside the ring all that much, and outside it's mostly road work, so this kind of running peekaboo isn't really based in reality. Also, no one goes this low while running. I assume it's a reference to series like Hajime no Ippo, where they constantly use similarly over-exaggerated poses to portray more of the feel of boxing rather than what it looks like. And since I love Ippo, I'm not going to complain. Now that's all fine and dandy, but what about the punches themselves? Mac has nice single strikes with immense speed and a lot of power, and possibly the fastest continuous jab I've ever seen. Like, holy shit my guy. In every one of these single strikes he's got an excellent stance, although he does slightly raise the back foot off of the ground when he's throwing the overhand. I don't like that as a technical execution, but it's so quick you can barely even see it anyway. So, who cares? Then there's this dashing jab cross into a backsway. Oh man, I love this. He leans into it a lot, but I don't really mind it in this situation since his lead leg is further in the front, so he's not out of balance and can easily move into the backsway. When slowing down, you can even see him push with the back foot's big toe when throwing the cross and pushing back with the inside of the ball of his foot into the sway. Very good. Excellent technique. Next is an overhand feint into a shovel hook that sends the enemy flying. I think the jump is a little exaggerated, but since he's already sent the opponent to the stratosphere, I don't think it really matters if his recovery is a bit slow. At first I didn't even realize it's a feint before I slowed it down to like 0.2 times speed. You can see he's going for a big overhand swing before ducking down into a body shot. Feints don't really work if the opponent doesn't even have time to react to it, though it's not bad enough to go to the bad category since the body shot itself is technically sound. Then we have a couple punches that come from a clinch, or something close to a clinch at least. We'll see more of these in the foul category too. First is a super close lead uppercut and the second one is an overhand. If you let go of the opponent, then neither is a foul, and honestly it's a pretty solid technique. If you alternate between these, it's pretty hard for the opponent to expect what comes after the clinch. No notes here, good stuff. Next up, Mac throws a combo of 14 goddamn punches in 2 seconds. For those not that well versed in boxing, let me explain. That's a lot of punches. Even this fast, all the strikes are done with perfect form, so I have no reason to complain, and even if they weren't, I can't see anyone throwing countered between these. Good stuff. Very impressive. Then there's this really nice guard. From solid turtle, Mac can go either to a backdash or a side slip. In the side slip, Mac lowers his lead hand to balance the slip. Would be really hard to slip like this with both your fists up in a guard, so this is good. The backdash is similar to the one after the 1-2, but with a lot more distance. Then there's the parry. From a parry, Mac goes to this Prince Naseem type leaning uppercut. Due to the fact that his peekaboo dashing is very reminiscent of Makunochi Ippo, I wouldn't be surprised if this counter is modeled after Brian Hawk from the same series. Pretty unusual considering all the other strikes so far have been fairly traditional boxing, but this is just full-on showboating. It's not bad per se, you just got to be an exceptional boxer to use something like this successfully. Alright, now that the good is out of the way, let's move on to the bad. There's this running punch where he throws his whole ass into it, slamming his fist through the opponent right into the ground. It's not a foul, it's just really bad and reckless technique-wise. Then there are these loaded crosses. If you see any of my Souls martial arts videos, you'd know how much I hate the convention of loading up a strike in a video game. It's just not a thing. So these go straight to the bin for me. The strike itself is fine, but the time Mac takes to throw it isn't worth the hassle, and the one-legged stance is just Looney Tunes levels of dumb. And then are all these jumping punches. Jumping in boxing is just not something you should be doing really. You'll never get as many advantages from jumping as you get downsides. Only one of these that isn't as terrible is the leaping hook, but even that is so exaggerated, I wouldn't suggest anyone trying it in a boxing match. Imagine the impact on your neck would have to bear if your opponent counters you mid 2-meter leap. Just like Doc Lewis said,
"You ain't no half fighter, man. Quit fooling around up there."
Those were pretty bad in terms of boxing techniques, but these last ones are just straight up fouls. Most of these you'd get at least a warning for, but for the last one you'd for sure get disqualified. Mac has a grab where he clinches the opponent and feeds them 7 body blows, and another where he lets go of the clinch and slams down with the double hammer fist. Both are very much illegal blows in boxing, first one because you can't punch while holding your opponent, and the second because hammer fists come with a prohibited part of the glove. Other illegal blows Mac has are a standing and jumping back fist and a jumping palm strike. These two come with a prohibited part of the glove, so these go straight to the bin. Next we have a crouching toe jab and a sliding punch done from hanging from a ledge. I would be mad for how stupid this is, but honestly I'm kind of impressed by the calisthenic trick he does here. One-handed muscle up going straight into a belly dive and with boxing gloves on? God damn. Anyway, punches below the belt are illegal, so these are also fouls. Then the final and most likely to result in a disqualification, Little Mac's final smash, Giga Mac Rush. He turns into a hulking beast that pummels his opponent in mid-air and sends them flying. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to change weight classes in the middle of the fight like that. Overall, Mac had a lot of really good pro boxer level stuff, some weird fuckery in the middle there, and a couple absolutely illegal moves. I'd say, compared to the lackluster technical performances he gave in the original Punch-Out and the Wii remake, I'd award this Mac 4 out of 5 boxing gloves. The good stuff he has is really good, and I think mostly outweighs the bad, since many of the bad are things that normally you wouldn't even try in boxing. Little Mac here demonstrates all the qualities of what I think makes a good boxer. Versatile style, solid defense, excellent footwork, technical proficiency, great conditioning, and strong character. Possibly up there as one of the best boxing characters in video games, alongside characters like Steve Fox and Daisaku Kuze. Just don't make him fight in the air. Personally, I'm super happy they made Little Mac into such a well-animated character. Even though I don't play Smash, I love seeing martial arts and combat sports depicted in, maybe not in a realistic, but in a stylistically faithful way. Most of Mac's moves were very well animated and there was a lot of attention to minute detail. That's all I have about Mac for now. Thanks for listening, dear.
What?